Hey guys, welcome back. Hope everyone is having a great day. I'm feeling really good because I feel like I'm making some progress with, um, you know, in like my prayer life and reading the Bible and, after my trip yesterday and praying and spending time with God, like on the way home for like almost an hour, I'm just feeling a lot more um, like connected and like, I don't know, like I just feel like I don't feel so like lost like I was for a couple days. And then too, it's really nice to be done with the book Judges because it was rough read. But anyways, so glad we're here. And if there's anyone new and you're watching my video right now, welcome. I've been reading the Bible and sharing my journey because, you know, before I found God and started reading the Bible, I'd see people talk about how, oh, Jesus saved me. I found Jesus. I found God and saved me, and I don't drink anymore, or I'm away from these bad people, or I'm doing better, or whatever. My financial situation's better. Blah blah blah. But like, I feel like you don't really know what the actual journey is of like actually reading the Bible every day and actually praying and spending time with God and actually, when God starts to guide you to transforming your life and changing it into a way that's better for you, the way that He's trying to change it for you, the path He's trying to lead you down, it's hard. It's not easy. And I feel like there's a lot of people that kind of like gloss over that. They don't really talk about the like actual like journey that, you know, it almost like in the beginning it almost seemed like it would be easy and that was it, and it hasn't been, and it's been a lot of work, and it's not been easy, and I feel like God's just been trying to like get me to maybe like help others who are on the same journey as me, whether now or you're finding these videos in the future, um just so maybe you don't feel so alone or have some help, or um just, I don't know. It's tough. It's not easy. So please join me. You don't have to like my videos or comment or say anything. You can follow in silence. You don't need to, announce yourself or anything. You can just watch my videos and read along with me. So, unless, if you feel like nervous about going to like a Bible study or going to church or something, like at least this way you can do it on your own time in private. You don't have to tell no one if you don't want to. You can just watch and read along with me, and then, pray in private and develop your relationship with God on your own way and time. And so, that's okay. So if you do start to read with me, you can start now or you can start at the beginning. The whole playlist is on my channel. So far, I have from day 1 till now. Day 1 and 2 are the only days without the recording of the chapters though. So just a heads up. So let's get started with today's chapters. It's going to be finishing off on the book Ruth, and then I think it starts with, I think it's Samuel is the next book, I believe. So let's get started.
Now Boaz said to her at mealtime, "Come here and eat of the bread, and dip your piece of bread in the vinegar." So she sat beside the reapers, and he passed parched grain to her, and she ate and was satisfied, and kept some back. And when she rose up to glean, Boaz commanded his young men, saying, "Let her glean even among the sheaves, and do not reproach her. Also, let grain from the bundles fall purposely for her. Leave it that she may glean, and do not rebuke her." So she gleaned in the field until evening, and beat out what she had gleaned, and it was about an ephah of barley. Then she took it up and went into the city, and her mother-in-law saw what she had gleaned. So she brought out and gave to her what she had kept back after she had been satisfied.
When I was recording this morning, I kept wondering what gleaned meant. And I forgot to look it up. So I'm so sorry. I have no idea what they're talking about right now. Um, so sorry.
And her mother-in-law said to her, "Where have you gleaned today? And where did you work? Blessed be the one who took notice of you." So she told her mother-in-law with whom she had worked, and said, "The man's name with whom I worked today is Boaz." Then Naomi said to her daughter-in-law, "Blessed be he of the Lord, who has not forsaken his kindness to the living and the dead." And Naomi said to her, "This man is a relation of ours, one of our close relatives." Ruth, the Moabitess, said, "He also said to me, 'You shall stay close by my young men until they have finished all my harvest.'" And Naomi said to Ruth, her daughter-in-law, "It is good, my daughter, that you go out with his young women, and that people do not meet you in any other field." So she stayed close by the young women of Boaz, to glean until the end of barley harvest and wheat harvest, and she dwelt with her mother-in-law. Then Naomi, her mother-in-law, said to her, "My daughter, shall I not seek security for you, that it may be well with you? Now Boaz, whose young women you were with, is he not our relative? In fact, he is winnowing barley tonight at the threshing floor. Therefore, wash yourself and anoint yourself, put on your best garment, and go down to the threshing floor. But do not make yourself known to the man until he has finished eating and drinking."
Oh my God, guys, I'm so sorry. I did not look up threshing floor either. I don't know what that is either. And it's so funny that it mentions this because literally, I think like 2 days ago, someone I follow on YouTube made a video about threshing floor. And I was like, oh, I wonder what that is. And I was going to watch the video, but I never did. And, um, and then of course here it is in the Bible. So interesting. But and I told myself I was gonna get like a notepad and a pen or pencil and make notes like while I read the Bible or like recorded the video or the chapters for the day in the morning, but I still haven't done that. Guys, I have a lot on my plate. I'm trying, like it's an adjustment reading the Bible every day, and I'm just trying to fit it in when I can right now. And it's definitely like I'm trying to transform my schedule and routine to like, you know, fit in reading the Bible, praying and spending time with God, and then now church. And so it's like, it's just an adjustment. It takes time, and like, it just takes time. And I'm trying not to be hard on myself because, I can't just change my whole life overnight. You know what I mean? And I actually prayed about this too one time. And God told me, like, everything's okay. Like, we're going to take this in steps. I'm not going to like overwhelm you. We're going to take this in steps, levels, and, do this over time. I'm not going to like just throw everything at you all at once. And like, you know, um, so that's what I'm trying to do. So I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. I got to figure out how to be a little more, um, proactive with reading the Bible, I think sometimes. Because like I have questions like what is threshing floor, what is, gleaning and all that. And then like I could look it up, but I forget, like I have to start my day. I'm taking care of my daughter. I have things I'm doing, like errands to run. It's just a lot. So I'm trying though. So,
"Then it shall be, when he lies down, that you shall notice the place where he lies, and you shall go in, uncover his feet, and lie down, and he will tell you what you should do." And she said to her, "All that you say to me, I will do." So she went down to the threshing floor, and did according to all that her mother-in-law instructed her. And after Boaz had eaten and drunk, and his heart was cheerful, he went to lie down at the end of the heap of grain. And she came softly, uncovered his feet, and lay down. Now it happened at midnight that the man was startled, and turned himself. And there, a woman was lying at his feet. And he said, "Who are you?" So she answered, "I am Ruth, your maidservant. Take your maidservant under your wing, for you are a close relative." Then he said, "Blessed are you of the Lord, my daughter, for you have shown more kindness at the end than at the beginning, in that you did not go after young men, whether poor or rich. And now, my daughter, do not fear. I will do for you all that you request, for all the people of my town know that you are a virtuous woman. Now it is true that I am a close relative. However, there is a relative closer than I. Stay this night, and in the morning it shall be that if he will perform the duty of a close relative for you, good, let him do it. But if he does not want to perform the duty for you, then I will perform the duty for you, as the Lord lives. Lie down until morning." So she lay at his feet until morning, and she arose before one could recognize another. Then he said, "Do not let it be known that the woman came to the threshing floor." Also he said, "Bring the shawl that is on you, and hold it." And when she held it, he measured 6 ephahs of barley, and laid it on her. Then she went into the city. When she came to her mother-in-law, she said, "Is that you, my daughter?" Then she told her all that the man had done for her, and she said, "These 6 ephahs of barley he gave me, for he said to me, 'Do not go empty-handed to your mother-in-law.'" Then she said, "Sit still, my daughter, until you know how the matter will turn out, for the man will not rest until he has concluded the matter this day." Now Boaz went up to the gate and sat down there. And behold, the close relative of whom Boaz had spoken came by. So Boaz said, "Come aside, friend, sit down here." So he came aside and sat down. And he took 10 men of the elders of the city and said, "Sit down here." So they sat down. Then he said to the close relative, "Naomi, who has come back from the country of Moab, sold the piece of land which belonged to our brother Elimelech. And I thought to inform you, saying, 'Buy it back in the presence of the inhabitants and the elders of my people. If you will redeem it, redeem it. But if you will not redeem it, then tell me, that I may know. For there is no one but you to redeem it, and I am next after you.' And he said, 'I will redeem it.' Then Boaz said, 'On the day you buy the field from the hand of Naomi, you must also buy it from Ruth the Moabitess, the wife of the dead, to perpetuate the name of the dead through his inheritance.' And the close relative said, 'I cannot redeem it for myself, lest I ruin my own inheritance. You redeem my right of redemption for yourself, for I cannot redeem it.' Now this was the custom in former times in Israel concerning redeeming and exchanging. To confirm anything, one man took off his sandal and gave it to the other, and this was a confirmation in Israel. Therefore the close relative said to Boaz, 'Buy it for yourself.' So he took off his sandal. And Boaz said to the elders and all the people, 'You are witnesses this day that I have bought all that was Elimelech's, and all that was Kilion's and Mahlon's, from the hand of Naomi. Moreover, Ruth, the Moabitess, the widow of Mahlon, I have acquired as my wife, to perpetuate the name of the dead through his inheritance, that the name of the dead may not be cut off from among his brethren and from his position at the gate. You are witnesses this day.' And all the people who were at the gate and the elders said, 'We are witnesses. The Lord make the woman who is coming to your house like Rachel and Leah, the 2 who built the house of Israel. And may you prosper in Ephrathah, and be famous in Bethlehem. May your house be like the house of Perez, whom Tamar bore to Judah, because of the offspring which the Lord will give you from this young woman.' So Boaz took Ruth, and she became his wife. And when he went into her, the Lord gave her conception, and she bore a son. Then the women said to Naomi, 'Blessed be the Lord, who has not left you this day without a close relative, and may his name be famous in Israel. and may he be to you a restorer of life and a nourisher of your old age. For your daughter-in-law, who loves you, who is better to you than 7 sons, has borne him." Then Naomi took the child and laid him on her bosom, and became a nurse to him. Also, the neighbor women gave him a name, saying, "There is a son born to Naomi." And they called his name Obed. He is the father of Jesse, the father of David. Now this is the genealogy of Perez. Perez begot Hezron. Hezron begot Ram, and Ram begot Amminadab. Amminadab begot Nahshon, and Nahshon begot Salmon. Salmon begot Boaz, and Boaz begot Obed. Obed begot Jesse, and Jesse begot David. Now there was a certain man of Ramathaim Zophim, of the mountains of Ephraim, and his name was Elkanah, the son of Jeroham, the son of Elihu, the son of Tohu, the son of Zeph, an Ephraimite. And he had 2 wives. The name of one was Hannah, and the name of the other Peninnah. Peninnah had children, but Hannah had no children. This man went up from his city yearly to worship and sacrifice to the Lord of hosts in Shiloh. Also, the 2 sons of Eli, Hophni and Phinehas, the priests of the Lord, were there. And whenever the time came for Elkanah to make an offering, he would give portions to Peninnah, his wife, and to all her sons and daughters. But to Hannah he would give a double portion, for he loved Hannah, although the Lord had closed her womb. And her rival also provoked her severely, to make her miserable, because the Lord had closed her womb. So it was, year by year, when she went up to the house of the Lord, that she provoked her. Therefore she wept and did not eat. Then Elkanah, her husband, said to her, "Hannah, why do you weep? Why do you not eat? And why is your heart grieved? Am I not better to you than 10 sons?" So Hannah arose after they had finished eating and drinking in Shiloh. Now Eli the priest was sitting on the seat by the doorpost of the tabernacle of the Lord. And she was in bitterness of soul, and prayed to the Lord and wept in anguish. Then she made a vow and said, "O Lord of hosts, if you will indeed look on the affliction of your maidservant, and remember me, and not forget your maidservant, but will give your maidservant a male child, then I will give him to the Lord all the days of his life, and no razor shall come upon his head." And it happened, as she continued praying before the Lord, that Eli watched her mouth. Now Hannah spoke in her heart. Only her lips moved, but her voice was not heard. Therefore Eli thought she was drunk. So Eli said to her, "How long will you be drunk? Put your wine away from you." But Hannah answered and said, "No, my lord, I am a woman of sorrowful spirit. I have drunk neither wine nor intoxicating drink, but have poured out my soul before the Lord. Do not consider your maidservant a wicked woman, for out of the abundance of my complaint and grief I have spoken until now." Then Eli answered and said, "Go in peace, and the God of Israel grant your petition which you have asked of him." And she said, "Let your maidservant find favor in your sight." So the woman went her way and ate, and her face was no longer sad. Then they rose early in the morning and worshipped before the Lord, and returned and came to their house at Ramah. And Elkanah knew Hannah his wife, and the Lord remembered her. So it came to pass, in the process of time, that Hannah conceived and bore a son, and called his name Samuel, saying, "Because I have asked for him from the Lord." Now the man Elkanah and all his house went up to offer to the Lord the yearly sacrifice and his vow. But Hannah did not go up, for she said to her husband, "Not until the child is weaned. Then I will take him, that he may appear before the Lord and remain there forever. So Elkanah her husband said to her, "Do what seems best to you. Wait until you have weaned him. Only let the Lord establish his word." Then the woman stayed and nursed her son until she had weaned him. Now when she had weaned him, she took him up with her, with 3 bulls, 1 ephah of flour, and a skin of wine, and brought him to the house of the Lord in Shiloh. And the child was young. Then they slaughtered a bull, and brought the child to Eli. And she said, "O my Lord, as your soul lives, my Lord, I am the woman who stood by you here, praying to the Lord. For this child I prayed, and the Lord has granted me my petition which I asked of him. Therefore, I also have lent him to the Lord. As long as he lives, he shall be lent to the Lord." So they worshipped the Lord there.
I was thinking earlier today when I was recording these chapters, I just thought like how difficult this must be for some people to read, because I'm smart. I don't think that I'm like super smart, but I'm average, maybe a smidge above average. I'm pretty intelligent. And I even find myself having difficulty sometimes understanding what sometimes like the words and the wording, because this is being translated from like, a long time ago. So some of it's a little difficult to understand. And I wonder like about people who are that are a little like, I don't want to say like that they're not stupid by any means. I think that there's just people who just, their IQ is just not as, you know, much. And it's not their fault. That's just how their brain is and everything. And I wonder, like, if there's people that maybe try to read the Bible and then they're like, I can't understand it. I wonder if there's like a version of the Bible for that's people to like maybe more understand it. Kind of like how for kids they have like a really, really watered down version of the Bible for like little kids, like the Noah story and the ark and all that. Like it's like, and Moses and all that. It's like super watered down. Um, I don't know. I don't even know why I'm saying this right now. So random. But I just thought, man, like if I'm struggling with it, like I can't imagine someone else that's like just not as, you know, um, maybe like lower IQ people. Like I wonder if they struggle with um, understanding the wording of, a lot of these chapters and verses, because it's not easy, you know. It's not easy. So, anyways, that was random. So sorry. Um, and I really hope that I didn't come across like mean or anything. Wasn't meaning it that way. Like I don't think that like I don't like ever want to call someone like stupid or anything like that. I just think that there are people who have higher IQs and there's people who have lower IQs and then there's people who have like in the middle average. And which I'm in, middle average. But I'm talking about like the lower IQ people, and it's not their fault. That's just how their brain, formed, or however IQ develops. I don't even know how that works, but um, like I wonder if they struggle with like for example, my husband has a relative who has Down syndrome. And she goes to church sometimes, but I mean, how much is she really understanding? You know what I mean? Like, sometimes she can't even form coherent sentences, like like sometimes I don't even understand what she's saying. Um, and so it's like she wouldn't be able to read the Bible, you know? And when she goes to church, she doesn't even really comprehend what's really going on, like fully. Um, I don't know. It's just kind of a bummer. I just like what happens to those people? It's not their fault. Like, what does God do with those people? Like, like how are they supposed to develop a relationship with God? How are they supposed to get to know him and you know, like go to heaven or try, you know, like how are they supposed to, like what does God do for those people? You know? Like I think about that sometimes. And then I also think about the kids, you know, like you know, children that are taken too soon, you know, when they're very little. Um what happens to them? Do they automatically get to go to heaven? Like, what does God do with those children? Like, they're too little to get to know God. They're too little to, I mean, are they exempt? Or, like, guys, I'm thinking too much right now. I hate this. I hate it when my mind does this. I hate it when I start to, like, think too much. And then I feel like the enemy takes advantage and then just pops more questions in my head and thoughts, and then I start to get anxiety and I start to get stressed and overwhelmed, and then I have more questions and thoughts, and it's just a spiral from there. So I'm gonna stop because I'm starting to feel a little emotional and overwhelmed and anxious right now. Because I do have a 1-year old daughter, and sometimes I think like, oh my God, like, you know, well, if something happened to her and God took her soon, you know, when she's a child, what would he do with her? Does she automatically get to go to heaven? Am I going to get to see her one day after like I pass, and if I get to go to heaven, you know, like, oh my God. Oh my. I have to stop. Why? I hate this. Guys, it's kind of like overwhelming, you know, when you really think about heaven and hell and like God and all of this stuff. It's like sometimes like it gives me anxiety and I don't know what to do about it, because then I start to think this way, and I'm just like, I don't even know, like sometimes I feel like I'm like, how do I stop this? You know, like how do I stop having these thoughts and questions, you know? I think it's time I pray today. Okay, guys, I'm gonna go because my brain's starting to be fried from these thoughts I'm having. So I'm going to pray right now and ask God to help me with this and just to calm me down and find some peace with these things. And I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.